Okay, in this video we're going to do some examples of multi-step equations. So usually there's a good amount of simplifying to do, which means to distribute or combine like terms before we actually start solving. Okay, so number one, you can see we have some distribution to do. I'm going to distribute here. So I have negative 11f equals 7 times 1, which is 7. 7 times negative 2f is negative 14f. And then I'm going to bring down my plus 5. So I distributed and brought down what I didn't touch. Okay, now you can see there's only one term on the left side. On the right side, you can see that we have some terms that are common, the 7 and the 5. So bring down my negative 11f, 7 plus 5 is 12. Then I'll bring down, don't forget the minus sign in here in front of the 14f. Basically serves as a minus sign, it's going to be a negative sign as well. Either or, really. So I have an f term over here, a constant, and an f term over here. So I'm going to leave my constant alone and get the f's all over to the left side. So in order to move this 14f, it's a negative 14f or minus 14f, so I have to add 14f to both sides. Negative 11 and positive 14 is 3f's. Bring down my 12. I want to get the f by itself, so I have to divide by 3 on both sides. And f equals 4. Another example, number 2. Again, I have some distribution. This looks confusing, so there's a lot of C's and 3's and 4's, but if you just follow the rules, you'll be okay. Take it step by step, and you have to write it out or else you'll get confused with your signs if you don't write down the steps. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 4c, bring down the rest. Plus c equals c plus 4, okay? Can't combine these terms on the right side. I have some terms over here I can combine that are alike. I have my positive 4c and my positive 1c. That gives me a total of 5 c's altogether. If you want, you can write a 1 in there if that helps you. I bring down the rest. Okay, now I have a constant and a c term on the left side and on the right side. So I need to get all the c's to one side, all the constants to another. Now in this term, at this point in the problem, you have many options, and if you do the math correctly, they should get you to the right answer. What I like to do is focus on the variable terms first, so the 5c and the c. What I like to do is I would like to subtract c from both sides here, because then it'll make the c term a positive term. If we can avoid negatives, it's nice to do. You don't have to, but that's just how I like to look at it. So I'm going to subtract the c from both sides of the equal sign, because I want to get the c again over here. So now I have 12. 5c minus c is 4c. The c is canceled over here, and I bring down my 4. Now that I got the c's to the left side, I want to get the constants all to the right. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. And I have 4c equals negative 8. Oops. Divide by 4 on both sides. And I have c equals negative 2. Okay, good. Let's look at number 3. In number 3, I have to distribute on both sides of the equal sign. So before I can do any solving, I'm going to do that. So I have 12g plus 6. Negative times a negative is a positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. Now here I have a negative in front. I have to distribute the negative. Okay? It's really like a negative 1. So if you want to write a 1 there, you can. It's like saying negative 1 times 13g. So I have negative 13g minus 2. So again, constants and g terms on both sides. Okay? I like to look at the g terms first, or the one with the variable. Now, if I subtract 12 from both sides, 12g, I'll have a negative number over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to add the 13g to both sides. Now, again, essentially you can add 13g, you could subtract 12g from both sides, I could subtract 6 from both sides, or add 2 to both sides. So there's actually 4 options at this point. But again, this is how I like to operate. Okay, so 12g and 13g is 25g. Bring down my plus 6. And my negative 2. Okay, I'm gonna, oops, I want to get rid of the 6. Now I got all the g's to the left, I want to get all the constants to the right, so I have to subtract 6 from both sides. So 25g equals negative 8. Divide 25 on both sides to get the g by itself. Now, negative 8 over 25 is what I have. I could turn that into a decimal, but most of the time the answer requires a reduced fraction. Okay, and negative 8 over 25 is a reduced fraction. 8 and 25 don't have any numbers in common, so that's actually my answer. It's okay to get a fraction answer. Just make sure it's reduced. And number 4, the last one. I have to distribute first. Bring down the left side of the equation. 3 times 3r is 9r. 3 times 4 is 12. Again, I want to get the focus on the r's, and I'm going to subtract. I'm going to choose to subtract 4r from both sides, because then I will not have a negative r term. So I have 5r plus 12. Over here, I need to make sure I bring down the negative with that 3. It was a minus 3 when we had the 4r there, but now when you bring it down, it actually is just a negative 3. Again, so minus and negative are pretty interchangeable most of the time. Now I just have my basic 2-step equation. I got all the r's to the right side. Now I'm going to get the constants to the left side. So negative 15 equals 5r. Divide by 5 on both sides. R equals negative 3. Hope this video helps. When you're writing down the video, write the examples with me, or watch it and then go back and write them down. They may make sense when you are listening to the video, but unless you write it down and try it yourself, you might not learn it or remember it very long. So make sure you're an active participant.